So that would probably be the advice that I would give. Everything
Mm-hmm.
happens for a reason, and you don't have to hold on to nothing that's not serving you or doing you any type of good. If you waking up and the relationship is stressing you out, you're better off alone. 100%. You'll grow 10 times faster.
Yeah.
And then you clear that path for somebody that's actually supposed to be there.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode on Divinely Disruptive Podcast. I'm your host, Jane Powers. If you're new to this platform, so happy you took time to tune in. Today, we're going to have a really special guest, and she is a multidimensional entrepreneur, a very fierce female, and she's impacted me in a very intimate way. So introduce yourself, girl. It's been a minute, almost a year, and thank you for taking time to show up.
Anytime.
You look amazing, and
So do you.
I just instantly feel you've matured, you've grown so much, and man, like a year now comparing, like I saw you and I thought, okay, you're mighty, you're small, you're petite, but like your energy was just a vibe, and you are so mature. So please introduce, to the crowd, people listening and watching, who you are, what you're about, and what the vibe was like when you first met me too.
What up, listeners? My name is Beanz. I'm an artist. I'm originally from Reading, Pennsylvania, but here we are out here in Vegas, the good old Vegas. Met my girl Jane like a year ago.
I also had the pleasure to meet your mom as well.
You did,
right?
yeah. She loves you too.
That was a special moment, and I was telling my husband when I first started this podcast, I was promising myself like every guest has to be meaningful. Every guest has to be very intentional. Like, I love that we're both new people, evolved people, but the energy, the vibe, it's definitely still there, but it's more grown.
Right.
It's like, let's talk about it. Let's talk about what you've been through. Let's talk about where you're going. Let's talk about, how you've been handling your life, because, you're just an incredible human. You're very talented in what you do. So, if you don't mind starting, let's just give, everyone listening and watching, in a nutshell, let's say like your elevator pitch of who are you, because you do a lot, but like, how would you kind of summarize what you do and what you're about right now?
I always tell everybody that I'm a creative, but I'm an artist, but I like this, I think I'm more of just a creative. I just like to just create all day.
Yeah.
I'm just one of those people that I like to go out and get my shit done, everything that I have to get done.
Yeah.
But I'm also a big house cat, and I love to be in the house, and like a big family person. I love to be around family. Like, y'all might not know this, but my mom is my best friend. I'm just real, close with family, and I just like to, take care of my business and stay in the house. Like, that's really what I'm about.
Yeah, that's why you look this good. I'm like, you ain't got no wrinkles.
I have no problems because I stay in the house.
Yeah.
I avoid everything.
Yeah. No,
unless I have to, like, unless I'm working or like getting something done, I'm really just not outside.
Yeah. Now, speaking of that, how do you get to a point where you are doing what you do as a creative, as an artist, and especially in your industry? Tell me how you are able to kill it in the game, but still be so humble. Like, that's what I love, is when I'm in this space with you right now, it's like, we're just chilling. We're just vibing. However, you have such a presence when you perform, when you create. So like, where did you get that? Where did you get that balance of, being a homebody or understanding the, importance of solitude and protecting your peace? Because I feel like a lot of people, including me, we don't necessarily get there already. It might be a lifetime of mistakes, a lifetime of making the wrong decisions with the wrong people, but already at your beautiful age, how were you able to like tap into that already? Like, I admire that.
I feel like I want to give a lot of credit to my family, because I always say like my dad raised me with like a hard mentality, not like I knew not to let people get over on me kind of thing because of what my dad showed me.
Okay.
But then I also got my mom where she shows me how to accept people for who they are, and it's just like a balance.
Yeah.
So I feel like I was just raised the right way, and I don't feel like going out and acting out of characters in me. Like, I'm just a humble person all around, you know what I mean? Like, I like to help people. I like to care. I care about other people sometimes more than I care about myself, and that's not good. But as far as the growth factor, like, I definitely feel like it's just something that I go through every day. Like sometimes I might fall back a few steps and sometimes I might feel ahead a few steps. Like today I woke up feeling on 1,000,000.
Yeah.
Yesterday it might have been 0. You know what I mean? Like I just take the shit by the day and try to learn things. I've been reading books and, you know, just like practicing meditating all the time and, you know, just trying to stay in touch with me so I don't lose that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's the most important thing about the whole shit is just like staying me.
Yeah. No, and you hit a good point too, because I feel like a lot of people, whether they have parents, whether it's blood mom, blood dad, a lot of us, if we're aware, especially with the Korean culture too, like we get a lot of inspiration from our parents. And, you know, people always tease me like, oh, you're always such a goody two shoe. You're always trying to do the good thing, making us look bad. It's like, it's not about making other people look bad. It's honoring my mom, honoring her sacrifices. And, you know, when you grow up with like ethnic cultured mom, you know, yes, we're Americanized, but it's like, you don't want to lose, you know, the lessons they taught you, especially life lessons, right? Where it made you who you are. And back to your point, just like, why act out? Or, you know, we're not perfect, but it's like, if we know who we are and we know how we were raised, like, why try to be different outside of who we really are?
Yeah.
And I feel like you really shine when you're just yourself. And I think that's really what continues to attract me to you. And like I said, you know, I try not to get too obsessive over the Instagram because social media alone, you know this, people act too much, whether it's acting too tough or acting too sexy or acting too peace and love. Like, why can't we just be what we are and like own that shit? And I really feel like you do a good job being very, again, multidimensional, because even on the Instagram and social media and beyond, you do show touches of, you know, the hard side of you, the sweet side of you, but just like, even just your humor. I know recently you posted something funny like, okay, when you hearten my story, are you hearten me or the content? Like, that was cute.
Do you like me or do you like the content?
Yeah. So
it's a true question. And you know what? By the way, a lot of people use that as an opportunity to hop in my DMs. That's not what I was doing. That's not what I was trying to do at all. Yeah, they're like sending me hearts and it's like, I like you. It's like, no, like, I wasn't even talking about you, bro. I didn't notice.
Oh man,
it's crazy.
That was cute. I may have added a heart too, just for fun. I was like, all right, let me just heart it just for fun.
I like my friend stuff, but I don't like guys stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I don't go liking guys.
Yeah.
Like.
Now, since you brought it up, kind of, a boss babe like you, how do you navigate through, you know, whether it's dating or relationships?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. That's as deep as it goes. Like, I haven't dated. I haven't like talked to people like that. Like, I don't really give my time to that stuff because like I'm one of those people who like when I get involved in something, I'm gonna give it a lot of me. Like, probably more than I should. So a lot of times, like, I'll end up drained after a relationship. So I like to just like I just been taking my time since my last relationship, which was a few years ago. Okay. I've been taking my time, you know, just not even really meeting people, just, you know, just doing what I gotta do, working, staying focused on that. I feel like when the right person will come along, it'll, you know, it'll fall together nicely. Like, that'll happen as it should. I don't want to like force anything or you know, give too much time to it.
Yeah, I love that. And, you know, you say it with such ease and grace. Now, people who are listening right now, where do you get that? And how can you teach these people who are maybe going through a breakup or maybe they're just in that dry spell where they haven't met somebody or they're trying too hard and it's not working? But like, where did you get that energy or wisdom where you're like, you know what, Jane? I'm chilling right now. I'm doing me. I'm in the house. If I'm doing something, it's all or nothing. But like, how are you able to be so secure in your season? Like, I really honor that because I feel like a lot of people were not always as confident during those seasons of just doing me.
Yeah.
You know, where do you get that?
I agree. I feel like, damn, I just feel like I don't know, like I've been through it. Yeah. You know, like I've been through the relationships that failed and things like that. And I'm just a big believer in everything happens for a reason. And I feel like if somebody's supposed to be around me, they will be. And if they're not supposed to be there. So I'll keep that energy clear versus, you know, trying to hold somebody there. So that would probably be the advice that I would give. Everything happens for a reason and you don't have to hold on to nothing that's not serving you or doing you any type of good. if you waking up and a relationship is stressing you out, you're better off alone.
Man.
100%. You'll grow 10 times faster.
Yeah.
And then you clear that path for somebody that's actually supposed to be there.
No, that's deep. And if you don't mind me asking, if and when you had a situation where you were with somebody, and it could even be friendships, right? Where you're thinking, okay, this is no longer serving us. We're not really happy. We're just kind of dragging each other. How long do you stay in it? And like, what are the signals or the red flags where you're like, okay, we've been doing this for a minute. It's time to let go. Because I know even for me, I've cut off a lot of friends and just shifting my energy, shifting my circle. And it's been not the easiest, you know, even since I've seen you. It's like people consider me a very jolly, friendly person because I love people. I truly do. However, back to your point, I'm allowed to protect my energy. I'm allowed to think, okay, this is not serving me and I'm not serving you anymore. How do you find that time to be like, all right, I need to like be done with this?
I'm like one of those people, like, I'll cut you off in a heartbeat. And that's a bad thing. That's not good. Like, I don't take pride in that. Like, I feel bad like, sometimes because of it. Because like, I'll really like, I've broken up out of relationship that I've been in. A relationship that I've been in I was in for 2 years. I left it and I didn't cry not one tear.
Wow.
I felt more relieved. That's how I knew. But usually as women, we'll ignore red signs from the red flags from the gate.
Yeah.
Like, oh nah, it wasn't like that. Nah. And then at the end of the day, you like you get out the relationship and you're like, oh, that whole shit was red flag from day one.
Yeah.
But I try to pay more attention to the red flags now. I feel like that's how I navigate around that now. Like, once you do something, like, I'm out of there. Like, I'm not gonna stick around and try to make things work because it's not.
Yeah, for sure.
And I've learned that.
Have you also have friends or experience in terms of observation, like maybe girlfriends or friends that you've had where they're not really like you, as in you see them repetitively, you know, being in a toxic relationship or complaining about not having the right circle of friends and they keep lingering on? Like, have you observed that in your friendships, whether it's now or then? Because I know I have, where people complain about the same thing, but how are you expecting different results from the same person when they're not changing?
Right.
Because that can be irritating too. You're trying to be there for your friends or be there for loved ones. But like, how do you also be there for people, but also let them know like, hey, this ain't working?
I think communication is the key in all relationships. Like, as long as I'm telling you the truth, even if I'm telling you, hey, you getting annoying with this shit, I got to tell you, you know, this is what you got to do. I might not even be right, but you're just getting on my nerves with it, you know? But like, I would rather tell you that because I'll probably just be angry in your presence all the time and you won't know why. Right. It's because you're getting on my nerves. So I think communication is key, like in any kind of relationship. I just want to talk to you. I just want to tell you exactly how I feel. That way we can get past this. Or, you know, if it's a situation where it's not family and it's a friend or something like that, I could decide where we go from there. Yeah. But if I'm being honest, I don't really have like friends like that. Like, I don't kick it with a lot of people. Like I said, I'd be in the house. Yeah. I have one best friend who's been my friend since I was in 2nd grade. Oh, wow. So yeah. And we just got off FaceTime the other day. We do FaceTime awesome. And wine because she still lives in PA. Oh, heck yeah. But yeah, you know, that's my girl. That's the friend that I'll call. I need is one good solid one. I always tell people, like, you don't need a lot of friends. Like, you just need one good solid friend that you could call and will be there for you, and that's gonna be enough. Yeah. No, I love that. And you kind of indirectly tapped on this, passive aggressive people, right? Like, I love people who are very direct. And again, being Korean American and growing up with Korean family, like, they'll tell you straight up, like, you look fat. Are you really wearing that? What's wrong with your hair? What's wrong with your makeup? And I remember as a child, I'm like, yo, you're a little rough on me. Like, are you really saying this? But the older I got, I actually respected them, right? Back to like the lessons we learned as a kid. And so, not to say I'm going to go out here and judge the world, but I'll let people know, like, hey, this look is working for you. You know, I mean, who am I to say anything? But if it's not nice and if it's not true, then I just won't even say it. Right. So what do you do with people who are not as authentically raw like you? Because I prefer people like you, because then at least we know what it is. But again, back to this city, there are a lot of passive aggressive people. And I feel like sometimes if I'm not aware, I can get lost in it too. Because you're hosting events. I host parties all the time, hosting these dinners. And I'm thinking, okay, this is a vibe.
I'm getting the photos, we're having a nice dinner, but then like you said, at the end of the day, I can't call them when shit's going down, or they're not going to necessarily call me when things are going, or my favorite, they're low key talking about me. It's like, wow, I'm doing all this stuff for you and you have no care in the world for me and my existence, and it's all about you and your gain, or if I help you look better, then you're going to continue to use me. So for you, have you been or interacted with passive aggressive people, or maybe people you know that don't really got your back, but of course when it benefits them, it's like, what's up, girl, how you been, you know, I love what you do. It's like
100%. And I think those are the people that you keep at an arm's length. And you know, the same things that they do for you, they do to you. I'm gonna use you for this. Okay, I could use you for this. I feel like a lot of the times, like, we'll look at the bad in the situation. What could we gain from this person instead? That way we're both winning. You're not just winning off of me, but if it's to the point that I can't deal with it, and you're just, you know, like we said earlier, like, if you're just getting on my nerves, I just won't go around you. That's it. Like, I'll just avoid you, and that's it.
Oh, I love it.
Just like, never see me again. That's it.
You're like, who are you?
But like, literally. But if it's not nothing that I can't handle, you know, like, we figure it out. What do you do? What could you do for me? What could I do for you? That way it's an even exchange, and we could both go our own ways, you know?
No, I love that. Now, how long have you lived in Vegas, and how do you feel like this city is for you, and how have you kind of adapted in terms of like living in Vegas?
So I'm from the East Coast.
Okay.
So I've been in Vegas for about a year from Pennsylvania. Well, I went to LA for like a year and a half, and then I came to Vegas for a year. So like, it was an immediate, I'm coming from the East to the West. It was totally different. Everything was different. The lifestyle is different. The people are different. The weather's different. The food is different. The cultures are like, everything is different compared to where I'm from. So I feel like it just took a lot of adjusting. But you know, I don't go out a lot. Like I told you, I should though. Because I miss out on a lot. And I'm like, you know, Vegas is a huge city, a lot of cool shit to do, and I be in the crib. So like my goal for like top of the year, like end of this year, I'm gonna start going out more. I know like downtown has some cool like thrift shops and shit like that. I just want to go catch a vibe and see what Vegas is like, because I've been here, but I really don't know where the vibes are, or like what I should be doing, you know? But it's been like a huge change, but like for the better, you know, like my family moved too. So everybody just excelled since we got here, especially coming from where we're from like the smallest city I've ever known in this entire planet. So it's a real small place. Literally me and my best friend would walk from the south to the north in one day. You know what I mean? Like this is insane. But so coming out here, this place is huge. It's just a lot to get used to, but definitely no regrets about it at all. No, I love Vegas. It's cool. You know, I made some dope connections and met some dope people out here, and you know, and it's still going. Still going. So,
and I don't know if you've noticed, but Vegas, it's like a crossbreed between people who are born and raised here. They left for a minute, they came back to the city because they're like, nothing is like Vegas, right? And then there's people like us where we've lived on the West Coast, East Coast, and now we're in Vegas. I feel like there's so many talented people, including yourself, that are in this city really trying to make it, right? And, you know, I'm like just the beginning of my journey. Obviously, you're a little bit more advanced in terms of like dedication and what you do in your craft, right? But how do you continue to stay inspired and motivated in creativity?
I think the meditating. The meditating does do a lot for me. And I write every day. So I think that's probably how I stay creative, because I'm constantly tapped into my talent and what I could do. Like, even if I'm not writing raps, I might just write some thoughts down. I'm just a writer. So like, I just like to write, you know what I mean? So I think that's how I stay connected. But like, as far as like the big city, I started doing my music in New York. So like, that's the city that never sleeps. So I'm used to like, you know, the bitches, you know, the cars, the parties, all that stuff is, you know, this is regular for me. So I feel like the same shit that I did over there, I do here. Like I would go in the crib, I'm done with it. Come out, do what I gotta do. All right, back in the house.
God, I love
Stay away from all that.
Man. Okay, you don't have to tell me your age necessarily, but you're not even 30 yet, huh?
No, I'm not 30 yet.
No, that's why I'm saying you're so mature, and I love that for you, because I'm about 33 now, and even when I was younger, just again based off my upbringing, the people around me, I was always very grown and mature. So when I connected with you and your energy and your spirit, I'm like, dang, like I love that. Like I see it, because it's also dedication. Like I don't think people realize to stay focused, to stay on your grind, to stay in your craft. Like it is dedication.
It's a lot,
right? Because
a lot of people don't talk about
go
that.
Off track.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that. Like, who do you want to do this for? It's kind of a trick question, right? Like, why do you do what you do, and who do you do it for? It's kind of a spiritual question.
I do what I do because I want to inspire. I feel like I have a talent that God has given me that I have to share with the world. I do what I do because God constantly aligns me in the right positions to continue doing what I'm doing. So I know for sure that I'm supposed to be doing this.
Yeah.
But I also do it because like I told you, I love my family so much, and they're one of my main focuses, where I'm like, okay, I gotta make sure they're straight. I want to make sure I'm straight. And also like the younger generation, the youth, like they don't have nobody else to look up to besides us. You know what I mean? So sure. I definitely do it to inspire them. Like I like to do speaking. I like to go to schools and speak to students, and just like sometimes I'll partner with Puma and do giveaways. That's for dope. Back to school or whatever, just to give back in some kind of way. Because when I go to those meetings with the students, like they leave there so inspired. Like I could just see the difference. You know what I mean? So like that shit makes like a huge difference to me and like what I'm doing it for. So it's a few reasons, but
yeah, no, I love that. And I like to ask questions like that because sometimes we get into a lane or we get into a vibe and we forget why we do it, right? Like even this podcast, like I told you, I've been manifesting this for a year, and I'm thinking, okay, am I just going to give people what they expect, right? Am I just going to give people this manufactured, Instagram filtered version of me, or am I going to go in and bring some healing? In your darkest moments, sometimes you have clarity. And I know that sounds trippy. It sounds like reverse psychology, 100%. But when you're like low vibration, low spiritually, feeling lost, feeling so far from God and your purpose, it's like you're so sensitive and you're so guarded and you're almost like hiding, but the right energy somehow allows you to like get up, right? Or like come out of the dark. And you did that for me. So, even yourself, have you had a time where you were in a low place? Have you ever had a time where you just literally wanted to stay in the dark, not be seen, not be talked to, not be bothered? And if so, who brought you out?
I'm going to say probably my mom, my best friend. Those are the people that I feel most comfortable speaking to, like about any kind of thing in the world. But to be honest with you, like I don't let myself get into that place. And I know I feel like it's very easy to get into that place where you can't get out of it, or you feel depressed, or you feel, anxiety, you feel unmotivated. Like I feel like it's very easy to get into that. And that's why if I feel myself going in that direction in any kind of way, or if I'm feeling sad, like if I'm waking up feeling sad for absolutely no reason, there's nothing for me to be sad about. I'm just sad. I'll do something like go on a walk. Okay. Or I'll read a chapter of my book. Yeah. Or, do a meditation, listen to some meditation music, like while I'm sleeping, just try to get something to get my energy going so that I don't feel that same way. Yeah. Cause it's definitely very easy for us to do that, especially in times like today where it's like, you see, I'm going to kill myself. Yeah. Because you don't want to deal with all this shit that's in the world. For sure. Understandable, but that's not the way to do it. Like whatsoever. There's so many other resorts to go to. Like,
where did you also get your awareness, and where did you also get that ability to be like, you know what, Jane, I'm feeling that sadness. I'm feeling that darkness. I'm going to shift the energy right now. I'm going to get up and go move, go walk, write, sing, whatever I got to do. Where did you get that? Like, was it from your mom? Did you see that growing up? But like, where do you get that?
It was definitely incredible. From my mom. Yeah. My mom, like when I was like 14, like around that age, she probably started watching The Secret and, you know, law of attraction things and stuff like that. And she would tell me this as I'm growing up.
Oh, wow.
Sabrina, what you think? I just said Sabrina.
Oh, girl.
Not Beanz.
Yeah.
That's what she calls me. She calls me on my real name. So she's like, Sabrina, you know, when you think about bad things, like, think of this. Change your perspective. Da-da-da-da. You know, and I used to be 14. I used to be like, Ma, leave me alone. Right. Like, I'm stressed. Like, you don't know what you talking about. Yeah. But reality is, that's really what you got to do. And like, now I see, like, all you have to do is shift your perspective. Like you said, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I don't got nothing going on, blah, blah, blah. That's your perspective. That's just the way that you're viewing yourself, but it's not reality. Yeah, that's like, good. I think it just comes down to, and we're easily like, we can think one thought and we'll easily turn that into 20 bad thoughts. One negative thought will turn into 20 negative thoughts, and it just keeps going. That's just how the brain works. Yeah. So it really comes down to your perspective. What am I going to put out there so that it comes back? You know what I mean?
I love that. Man, perspective. Okay. That's really good. And like, part of the podcast too is it might sound common sense to us, right? But like, people watching and listening,
it's tough though.
I know that, you know, there's so many people who just didn't have family, didn't have parents around, didn't have any siblings. So just even being in this space with you, again, it's such an honor, because I'm also taking in life lessons that maybe I didn't necessarily have or get. But I think that's the point of consuming positive content, right? Consuming positive thoughts, and back to the word perspective and perception. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that even that alone is highly related to the things that we consume. Yeah. Right. 100%. Whether it's social media, whether it's podcasting, whether it's the news, or whether it's opening up a magazine and seeing these anorexic looking girls, right? Or whatever it might be. Yeah. So, you know, for you, because again, I can see you've evolved into this beautiful woman. However, just the core of you is so grounded. Have you ever had a time too where you've also fallen into, you know, temporary moments of comparison, envy, jealousy? And if so, how are you able to stop and be like, okay, I've gone too far. I've spent too much time on Instagram.
Put the phone down. I literally tell myself, put the phone down. If I ever feel myself doing any of those, because that's not even like a normal thing to do. That's just something that we do now because that's what we have to do, because we have social media everywhere we look. But that's not normal to compare yourself or your journey or anything that you're going through with anybody, because it's literally every journey is different. So if I ever feel myself doing that, or like, I just put the phone down.
I love that.
I'm putting it down. I'm going to put my shit on do not disturb. Okay. And I'm just going to like take a nap or something, because like something is needed to get me out of that. Like, cause that's not right. That shit is weird. Yeah. And I think that we put too much into social media nowadays. Like, when you see people on social media, 9 out of 10, that's not real life. No. They're not even like that. They're actually fucking assholes half the time. Yep. And they seem like the most motivational people on earth on social media. Your favorite celebrities, name them. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty much the same case. Like, social media is not real. Yeah. And, you know, of course, people are going to post their best moments on social media, and we're going to compare maybe our worst moment that we're sitting in that moment to their best moment. And it's going to make you feel 10 times more like shit. Yeah. It's never a good idea.
I need to start putting sticky notes on my walls. Put the phone down.
Seriously, I really be having to do it.
Oh my God. And it's funny how you're like, maybe you got to take a nap, but how many of us are guilty literally scrolling before bed, or we're low-key exhausted, drained, and we need to take a nap, but we're over here trying to stay awake, scrolling, right? Vegging out, whatever they call it. But again, it's not productive energy. It's not productive content, right? And speaking of social media, I've seen so many, you know, just like whether it's online or blogs or articles about how there's cyberbullying now and people literally killing themselves because of social media. And I'm talking about kids, like not even adults. And so even on a younger level, speaking of future generation, right? Like what you're doing is obviously empowering the future generation, but social media, if not used properly, I feel like we're killing the future.
100%.
Right? Because it's like we're preaching about sex, drugs, maturity, hurry up and grow up and go be out there and be cool. It's like, let kids be kids. Let people properly evolve. Like, why are you getting surgery when you're 13, 14 years old? Yeah. You know, it's like, that is not a good way of, you know, bringing up the young kids to our future, like, oh, you gotta look like this to be rich, or you gotta look like this to fit in. Like, that's not healthy.
It's not. And sometimes I think that that's why they do it. Yeah. So that, more people are in a bad situation. I don't believe that, I don't know how deep you be getting into that, but like the government and shit like that, shit throws me off. You know what I mean? So I feel like they'll purposely put stuff like that on our feed so that we feel certain types of ways, so that we do certain things to ourselves and the people around us. Like, it's just where the world is today.
Yep. And, kind of what you're going towards, which I am there with you as well, is I don't think it's a problem to question what is being exposed. And I know in my household, I needed to take a break from the news. I needed to take a moment from cable. And some people might think I'm crazy, but especially during the pandemic, we just cut cable out. Yeah. It's like, you turn that stupid TV on, you're like way worse than what you started.
Your heart's like, what's happening? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. My anxiety's going through the roof. It's like, bro, turn that shit off. Yeah. And I don't pay attention to the news, all that shit. Like, I 100% agree. I don't have cable. Yeah. I don't have cable. I don't even watch TV.
Yeah. No, literally. I swear. And so many people are angry right now because they're realizing whatever, again, projection, perception, whatever you want to call it, perception even, it's all a delusional idea. And now things are coming out, without going too deep, but things are coming out that it isn't what it was.
Right. Always.
It's like, we knew what it was, right? But a lot of people, they're just so, it's like their world's flipped upside down, right? Because they never took time to be aware, never took time to possibly question, right? It was like, oh no, this is the Bible. This is what they're saying. And now things are coming out like, whoa, what's going on here? So to bring it even further to just like basic life, have you even ever been lied to, right? Not even on a political standpoint or a government standpoint, but just even people, right? Or even your community. Like, do you ever feel like you've been either lied to or just like false realities or false perceptions? Because I know I've had seasons where, I worked in beauty as a makeup artist. I was an esthetician. I worked in fashion. But at the same time, I know how to carry myself and I know how to speak well. But girls would just lie to me or gossip and make me feel like I'm crazy or make me feel like I'm an alien. And it's like, damn, like sometimes you do get lied to by your community, whether it's the vibe. So like even for you, I know now you protect your peace, but like, have you ever been involved or around people or even in an industry where people lied to you or made you feel some type of way when really that wasn't true?
100%. More times than I would like. More times than I would have liked in my entire life, for sure.
Because I know you're smart, but like I can only imagine the energy that people bring. So tell me a little bit about those experiences and how you dealt with it and how you grew out of it, because it can get tough.
I think I'm smart. I know I'm smart, but I also have a good heart. So like sometimes the heart will overpower the mind, and it's just like, oh, they lied, but it's like they didn't mean it like that, or they didn't, their intentions weren't bad, and I just avoid it all. This is one of the reasons why I stay in the house.
That's why when you came really out of the house for me, I was like, yes, because I haven't seen her out in a minute, and here you are.
I don't know how I got to this point where I'm always like inside, but I know, low key, but I just, I try to just avoid all of that. If you lie to me one time, you're capable of lying to me 100 other times. So I'm just going to assume everything you said after that was a lie if I find out you lied to me. Yeah. And we could leave it there.
Yeah. No, I love that. And somebody also reminded me, like, when people are gossiping to you about too many people, that most likely they're also gossiping about you. So
usually, yeah.
I've learned also, karma, right? What goes around comes around. Is I've been reminded by, people that love me and look out for me. They're like, Jane, I know you get really passionate. And I'm like you. When I care deeply. Right? Like, I'm a Capricorn, so I'm very workaholic. I set my boundaries. I'm very loyal, but sometimes to a fault. Like, man, we had this bond. I'm going to stay loyal to you. But at some point, you got to recognize, like you said, the patterns, the behavior. It's like, nah, like, you did mean that. Like, that hurt, but I think you meant that.
Right.
Because sometimes we want to switch up and say, oh, maybe they were having a bad day. Maybe they're just PMSing. Maybe they just had a breakup. But no, I think there's a point where we need to also stop dismissing people's behavior. So So if you could share with me too, like, again, it sounds easier said than done, but like, how do you get better at recognizing, again, behaviors and being like, all right, like, I don't think that manager is good for me, or I don't think this record label is it, or I don't think these group of girlfriends are it. I don't think I need to be at the club with these people. I don't think I need to be working with these type of coworkers, right? Like, how many chances do you give them? And at what point are you like, okay, either I got to find a new job or I got to get out of this circle, but like, how do you deal with that?
I think
because some people, they'll keep trying you. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, there's certain people where, God forbid, but we all experience them once in a blue moon, where it's like there's that one person that just like tries you, but you're gonna not let them get under your skin, but they want to try you.
I think based off the experience, like I learned how to handle that now because I've been through it before. So it's like I lost it.
Yeah,
I lost it.
God, no,
we gotta cut it out.
Yeah, God, like I said, as you speak, I'm just like, really? That's it? Okay, because sometimes we over complicate things, right? And we self-sabotage things too, right? Where it's like, oh man, I'm losing this friend, or oh man, now I'm not going to be dating this person. It's like we all get in this funk sometimes where it's like we just overcomplicate stuff versus, like you said, like if it's not serving you, if this is not the vibe that you want, this is not the type of people you're proud to be around, then let's cut it out. Just
right.
Simple. Right. Cut it out. We didn't say easy, but it's simple, right?
Yeah.
Now, okay, so I know you talked about your awesome friend that you've had since, second grade, like grew up in the same town. That's freaking dope. I know you do the FaceTime, but like, how do you continue to keep that bond? Because I have a lot of friends like all over the US and I need to get better at calling them. But like, how are you able to have that long distance connection? And then how do you guys keep maintaining it? Because that's like a God gift. Not a lot of people have that.
I know.
Right?
I've
like
heard
when you
that.
said that,
like
I'm
especially when you move, it's like you're pretty much probably not going to talk to them again. Because I have people from PA that I haven't spoken to since I left PA.
Yeah.
Like for sure.
Where you're at now though.
But with my best friend, if I think of her, I text her.
Oh, I like that.
And I think of her for every little stupid thing. Mm-hmm. Like her mom would say, you guys are going to end up together.
Yeah,
like as we grew up.
I'm like, dang.
You're gay for her because, like we always were up each other's ass. Like we were truly best friends.
No, I admire that. I'm like, damn, that's like a lifelong love story right there.
Yeah, so like, it literally sounds like sometimes I think she's like one of my soulmates, because like I'll literally think of her from so far away and I'll use that opportunity to grab my phone and hey, just thinking of you, miss you. You know what I mean? Like sometimes something so simple like that will show the person I love you and she'll do the same if she's, out and thinks of me, and we meet up in random states sometimes. Wow. Like when I did Miami Rolling Loud, she pulled up over there. That's she flew out there and she came out here to see me already. She spent last New Year's with me. So
I love that.
It's just about sacrificing and using the opportunity to let the person know, like, I still do think of you. I still do love you. I still, do wish I was around you type shit.
Oh, I love that. Man, I haven't heard that word sacrifice in a while. I don't know if it's because we're in 2022, the world fell apart, and now, again, Instagram, TikTok, social media is taking over the world. Everyone's fixated on instant gratification now, right? But dang, that word sacrifice, I really haven't heard of that word in a while. But I don't know, like maybe it's just me, but I don't think that a lot of people are as sacrificial as they used to be, even in friendships, right? It's like, oh, you busy? You always busy. So I'm not going to hang out with you anymore. Because I know for me right now, my priorities is building my platforms, creating a win-win situation for people that I love, and building my empire and becoming somebody where I don't need to use anyone. I don't need to, pull one over on anybody, but more so just be fulfilled, have my cup full, and present myself, navigate in the world. When I see like-minded individuals, we can all sit together, right? But not a lot of people are going to understand our grind and maybe what we're going through. And so I don't know, like, have you also experienced moments when people are just like not really trying to meet you halfway too?
100%.
It's like, we busy, we hustling. Like even me and you, I know we've met in a year and it's like, here we are now, but it's like, I don't fault you for it. It's like, here we are catching up. Like, girl, I haven't seen you in a while, but cool. Like, can't wait to catch up.
Yeah, exactly.
But let's be real. That energy is not always going to be it. That you feel guilt or they joke about it. Like, oh, you're always working. You're always grinding. You're always doing this and that. Like,
too busy for me.
Yeah. So just like, how do you also deal with that kind of energy? Because I don't want to feel guilty for trying to make it or make a purpose for my life.
I'll laugh it off.
Okay, I like that.
You too busy for me, Beanz? You're right, bro. You're right. Yeah. Okay. Like, I just been busy. Yeah. It's true. I have been busy and probably too busy for you. Yes. But that's not a bad thing. Like, that's a good thing. And if you really are, supposed to be in my circle or whatever, you'll understand that. Like, oh yeah, she's out here getting to it. You can see what I'm doing. Like, it's not like I go ghost and you never hear from me. Yep. You can see what I'm doing. And and if anybody reaches out to me that I care about or, that I have a connection with, I'm always going to hit them back. Yeah. If we didn't talk, it's probably because you didn't hit me.
Right. Yep. Or didn't try hard enough,
And what you said about the sacrificial thing, I think nowadays it's people don't sacrifice because we have social media. I think, like, whether it's a relationship, a friendship, oh, you didn't hit me, we can't kick it, I'm cutting you off, I'm gonna go find another friend because it's a million women right here, a million men right here that I could just feel like I could hit up. And I think these people are at my disposal. Same with relationships. Oh, I'm cool on him, let me hit up this one, let me hit up this one. Like, it's just, it comes down to the fact that we're so used to social media, and I think, like, people are just used to people feeling disposable, so they don't feel like they have to sacrifice or do much to keep these people around because I could just find somebody else. Yeah. But it's not like that.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like it's very dangerous too because, back in the day it was Facebook, right? Like, you'd see family photos or people getting married, getting pregnant, or having a new relationship, and people just assume like, oh, I've seen you, I know what you're up to, right? And I feel like Instagram, it's just like fast forwarded that moment, right? Like, we're scrolling every day. It's like, okay, I see my neighbor, I see my girlfriend, I see my coworker, I see the dude I met once in a while. Like, you just assume you have these real life relationships, but social media, if used properly, I do believe it brings unity, it brings community, it does bring people together. However, if not used properly, as we see also, it creates division, it creates distance, it creates this like false facade. So back to your point, that's one thing I kind of hate about like where we're going. And thank goodness you and I both use social media for good, right? Including this podcast platform, right? It's all about inspiration, motivation, sharing real conversations, real lessons, ugly truth as well. But the outcome of this is to help people, right? For good. But I feel like often social media, it's not always for good. And, with the rabbit hole of depression because of comparison, feeling like I'm not enough, or, oh, that girl, look at her abs, look at her boob, look at her butt. It's like, why are we not tapping into, okay, let's say I see a photo of you, right, in Miami, and you got a dope fit or you got a new shoot. Most likely I'm going to be like, hey, you killing it. How you been? Like, literally texting you or sending you a voice note, right? But so often, I think people are almost numbing themselves from that next step, right? Same with the dating. It's like, okay, well, you're not trying to see me today, or you don't like this photo, then instead of like taking that next step of, you know what, let me call you, let me send you a voice note or whatever it might, let me send you a text. It's like, nah, you're not giving me the instant gratification right now.
That sounds like me,
right? Like, you're not working too hard. But either way, this is not to like shame us in any way, but we're all guilty of it, right? Or like, let's say we post a photo or a reel and it's like, all right, this is going to go viral. I know it's going to be this photo. And most likely it's not. You're like, what? But you had all this hype, right? For nothing. So how do you also deal with like the pressure of society, pressure of social media? I know we're talking about a lot of things right now, but again, this is substance that people want to hear is, going on the social media thing again. Like, how do you feel when maybe the likes, the comments, the engagement isn't what it is, right? Because sometimes we work our ass off and it's like we show off a little bit. It's like, damn, that's it. You're not even going to put like an emoji or like, yo, that verse was sick or whatever it is.
Right, or even the algorithm. The algorithm itself will screw your whole shit up and you just won't get no views.
Yeah. Because you work hard. Like, I watch you work hard. And like I said, even the content you put out, it's good stuff. But like, how do you deal with that when it's not necessarily like the feedback that you want?
That might upset me a little bit, especially if I know like it's a dope freestyle or something like that, and it only gets like half or a third of what it should be getting. It's like, oh yeah, getting me
yet
tight.
There's somebody twerking and they're getting 5 million. Right?
The algorithm got me tight right now, like 100%. But I don't let that discourage me or make me feel any type of way, because I know that the algorithm is the algorithm, and social media is social media. So regardless whether I get 10 likes or a million likes, I still got to do this shit tomorrow again.
Exactly.
So I don't really let the likes or the comments or shit like that, even like negative comments that people leave, like I don't let none of that affect me, because regardless I got to go out and get it, like no matter what happens.
No, I
got to do this again. Like.
And like, you're one of the few people, at least in Vegas, where I've met, in person first before I saw your social media or even understand what you really do. But I think that's one of the fun parts about being me, is I grew up playing professional golf, grew up super conservative, grew up in the church. So I was like a nerd. I was like hiding in the back, like very conservative. So when I moved to this town, I'm great with people. Like that is my gift, but I'm so ignorant to like what's really popping or what's really going on with people. But I think that's actually like one of my low-key gifts though, right? Yeah. Like I don't meet people because, oh, you hot, or, Snoop Dogg, or, I'm just making up names, Sierra. It's more just like, dude, I like your energy. I like your vibe. Yeah. Like, tell me about yourself, because at the same token, when we're too fixated on the idea of people, right, including Instagram, you're almost setting yourself up for failure, because it's like, you don't even know me, and you think you know me, and you're connecting with the version of what you think I am.
Yeah.
Versus us connecting in the way that we did. And now we're talking. It's like, I'm giving an opportunity for both of us to just talk and just be. Not like, oh, give me the version that social media turns you into. Same for me. I don't want people to get to know me based off social media, but more so just as a person, like everyday life. And so you hit some great points about social media too. I keep bringing it up because right now there's definitely just an obsession over it. 100%. And I'm not saying it's bad. Like I said, if used properly, it can get you money. It can bring you opportunities, right? But again, I'm talking about the ones that are just not aware of how they're consuming content. It's like, you can't just fixate on the idea of people, and you have to eventually take time to get to know people. Right.
And that's why I like to meet people in person.
Yes.
Because it's more organic.
Yes.
It's like, do I like you or do I not like you?
Yep.
Right. And somebody's not like liking me because I have a lot of followers, or liking me because somebody follows me that they're a fan of.
Right.
Like they like me because because of my energy, because of what I'm about.
Yeah.
Like the other day, for example, I went to an event and I ended up meeting this guy there who ends up owning a studio out here.
Oh, wow.
So it was just, and he didn't know me, I didn't know him. It was just like a natural, organic conversation that just led into, I'm an artist. You're an artist? Wow. I own this. You know what I mean? Like, and it was just like, look at God.
Yes.
Like, and I feel like that's always the case. Like, God is always going to put you exactly where you need to be. You might not know why you're there. You might think of some shit. Yo, I wake up one day and I'm like, I got to go to Starbucks. I want to go to Starbucks. I can meet somebody at Starbucks. Yeah. Like, you just got to follow that and be in touch with your intuition.
Yes. Yeah,
for sure.
I love that, man. And I feel like God doors are the best doors, right? And call me cheesy, but like I tell all my close friends too, I'm like, dang, things that we hope for, things that we plan, to God it's cute, right? Because what we think is like, oh, I got these big plans, these big goals, like, okay, honey, right? You little child of God. But really, I feel like when God doors open, again, even this moment right now, right? Like, I'm not shocked by this moment. I'm more so just pleased, grateful, and just honored and humbled, because back to that intuition, when you posture yourself with God, like, he really does open divine doors that you didn't even know, right? That's why even when I met you at first, I was like, girl, I like your style. I like your makeup. And, even though in that moment we connected on such an innocent level, God will start to orchestrate and move people. Like you said, at the end of the day, or at the end of this chapter or journey, like if two people were meant to be in a room, he will already make that happen, Because you and I could have also just been like, hey, it was really nice to meet you. Have a great life and be done.
Yeah.
Versus, in our own unique divine paths, we're continuing to invest in ourselves, do the self-work, do the healing, continue to build our platform that speaks to us. And now we're able to share that, right? And I, through the podcast, that's one of my greatest hopes is it's not about, oh, what is Jane trying to do or what kind of fame is she trying to take? It's like, no, I think we're missing the point, right? It's showcasing, inspiring people, showcasing, again, influential people. However, when I introduce every podcast, it's like, no, this is all about influential people who've impacted me in a very intimate way. And even the word intimate, people just often think, oh, sex, sexuality. Like, not intimate is spiritual. It's sensual.
It's deep.
Yes.
Deeper than that.
So even when you made that joke about your girlfriend, best friend since second grade, it's like, that's the type of shit I'm trying to gain. Like, maybe not since second grade, but why not at 33? Like, when we're old and grown, it's like, girl, remember when we met at 32? Like, we met through a mutual friend and here we are 85 years old still talking. Like, I'm going to start now, because I didn't have a lot of friends growing up because I moved around a lot. So the depth wasn't there, and it breaks my soul, trust me. Because I think my ability to connect with people, again, comes from a dark place. It's like, okay, right when you get close to somebody, gotta go move. So with that said, it forced me to know myself, and I feel that for you, right? And so when I ask these questions, when I dig deep into your soul, it's more just like, no, I resonate with that. And I think a lot of people, I don't know, I can just sense there's either shame or they're not able to be vulnerable. But it's okay to have moments of feeling alone. It's okay to have moments you feel left out. It's okay to have moments where you're moving around. It's like, when am I going to stop moving around? Like, am I eventually going to have a tribe? Am I eventually going to have a community? Like, am I eventually going to live in a cul-de-sac and know all my 8 neighbors and have barbecues? Like, I haven't had that, but I hope so. But what matters is, we start now. So again, this is another deep layered question here. But do you feel like certain things were taken away from you as a kid? Do you feel like there were moments in your childhood where it's like, gosh, I wish I did that, or gosh, I wish I had that, or man, everybody had that, but I didn't have that? And if so, like, how do you feel like that molded you?
And I did not experience that.
Yeah.
I did not experience that at all. My parents always bought me anything I ever wanted.
Oh, I love that.
But I do feel like, since you want to get deep, I feel like as a first child, we get it. Do you have siblings?
I'm a middle child, so maybe that's why I'm just like a random free spirit lost.
Yeah. my brother's a middle child too. But I feel like the first child, sometimes we get it different. Like, we get a different kind of childhood versus like our younger siblings. Yeah. It's a completely different.
I gotta talk to your brother, man. We'll probably cry and be like, damn, middle child syndrome. It's a real thing.
He would tell you that it's a real thing.
You're just like, nah, Jane, I'm good. I'm like, but your brother, shoot.
I don't think that he feels any type of way, because I always see him getting treated equally, but who knows? But yeah, I feel like as a child, like, I usually got like everything I ever wanted because I was able to. My parents could afford it. My dad could afford it, so he made it happen. But I don't think that really, changed anything. I feel like I always, like, I think it just made me into more of who I am today, as far as wanting everything that getting everything that I want, or trying to get everything that I want, because I'm so used to getting it as a child.
And like, okay, this is kind of an interesting situation. So, a lot of times people think like, oh, my childhood, loss or whatever. Man, this is like very spiritual, very deep. So there's like 2 extremes. There's the people that were able to have the parents, right? And neither one's good or bad. It's just 2 different situations that God gave us. But it's interesting what you said, and it's not a bad thing. It's very ironically awesome. So kids that were able to have somewhat of a stable household, right? Both mom and dad around, was able to, be given what they needed, right? So there's that experience, which means, okay, so as a child growing up into this world, it's like, okay, I got a mom, I got a dad, they're supportive. And for the most part, things that I need, whether it's basic food, basic clothing, just basics, they are provided, right?
Yeah.
So with that said, it's ideal to grow up and be like, well, this is how I've lived. So these are also certain expectations. And that's not bad, right? So let's stay on that word expectation for a second.
Mm-hmm.
People like me or a lot of middle children or just like lost sheep in the family, we're on the other extreme where it's like, shoot, you love my little sister more, you love my brothers more. I'm just the awkward middle child where it's like, figure it out. I don't know. And then the dynamic was interesting because it was 2 boys, then me. So like my mom raised me like a boy. Like I already had 2 sons. Now I got a girl. So I guess I'll figure out how to raise a daughter. Then my little sister was born and then she was babied. She was like the princess. But then it's like, what about me?
Right.
So again, back to expectation, it's like good and bad or everything in between. I grew up kind of not having everything or not knowing how to express it, right? I just kind of like turned into a crab where it's like, okay, obviously you guys babied my sister. You thought that I could do it on my own. So you never really babied me necessarily. It was more just like figure it out, right? And I'm not necessarily proud of that, but I love what you said where you're like, no, Jane, my parents worked really hard to provide. So they gave me this fierce fire to be like, no, I can get what I want. And that's a good thing. And so I feel like because I came on the opposite extreme, even my husband, he's just like, where do you want to go out to eat? I'm like, I don't know. And I'm not proud of this. Like, I want more of your fire, right? Where it's like, I want pasta and I'm going to go get pasta sometimes, right? Like, I need to get more to that point where it's like, know that you are deserving, know that you are worthy. Because sometimes I lack that. Like I'm so giving. And I think we shared a little bit of this where you were like, I love hard. Sometimes you love other people more than yourself. I'm like that. It's like, let me feed everybody. Let me make sure everyone else is taken care of. Let me make sure your makeup and hair is fly. And then I'll get back to me. But even in my marriage of 7 years, it's like, damn, Jane, like at what point are you going to just tell him, what do you want to eat? What do you want to do? And
I think that's like, normal though.
As women, sometimes I'm like, dang, just what do you want?
No woman knows what she wants to eat ever at any time of the day.
Right? Yeah.
I think that's a thing.
But we're starving, right? But we don't want to eat anything.
Hungry and no appetite for nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. But, have you ever like been in a place too or a season where you were scared to ask for stuff, even though you knew you were deserving and worthy of it? Like whether it was in a relationship or just like in life. Because I feel like worthiness, self-love, again, self-worth is such a huge part of life that so many people don't have though.
Right.
Like they don't think that they deserve anything. They don't think that their life means anything. So how do you continue to stay on it? Right? Especially as women. Because at some point we might like step off the gas a little and be like, all right, I'm gonna just cruise for a minute. But it's like, no, we got to keep pressing in though.
So I told you that my dad was real tough.
Yeah.
Real tough.
I can't wait to meet him one day.
He lives in PA. Maybe
one day. Okay.
But yeah, I feel like the way that he raised me was to like speak up for myself all the time. Mm-hmm. So if I ever catch myself in a situation where I'm like, I'm uncomfortable or I don't like what you're doing or I don't want that, I want this, I'm more than likely gonna just tell you because awesome. I want you to know that I don't like that. I don't want that. Because if you do it, I'm just gonna get mad. Yeah. I really, my trigger's like this. I get triggered so fast
because I'm like, you get it. That's awesome. Yeah.
It's like I don't want to spaz. I don't want to spaz on you. So I'm just gonna tell you that way.
Let me help you in advance.
Yeah, like just I feel like it's always good to just speak up and let people know exactly how you're feeling because. A lot of the times when I was younger, I would expect, like, even in a relationship, I would expect the person to know what was on my mind, what was bothering me, what what's in the way of this right now. And it's like they're not gonna know. Yeah. You have to speak up.
Okay.
And if you don't speak up, there's some people that are so lost in their own heads. Yeah. They're not aware of what's going on. Yeah. They have no self-awareness and no awareness around them. Mm-hmm. So like they would never know what you're going through unless you tell them. Literally never have no idea. God. They won't even know something's wrong with you.
Yeah. See, that blows my mind. And this is probably why I enjoy our conversation right now is for us, like you could probably tell in our face, right? Like we're either in a room and it's like, okay, Jane, I like her, we vibing. And then this person's like, yo, like this ain't it. Because I know for me, I can't hide my emotions and I need to get better at that. But back to the lack of awareness, I'm so shocked by how like people who are intuitive like us, we instantly know when someone's in a bad mood. We instantly know when like someone's having a bad day, right? But we also know if it's appropriate to press in and say, hey, are you good? Or, okay, let's give it some time. Exactly. We'll come back. But man, again, I don't know how people were raised or how they were brought up, but it does truly amaze me by the lack of self-awareness that a lot of people have, right? Especially during the pandemic. If you look at Black Friday and just random situations in life where it's like they will literally step over you, or like you're in line, they'll just cut you, or even on the freeway, like they'll just cut you off. Like, really?
Yeah.
Where are you going? Unless you're literally dying, going to the ER. Like, I understand that, but if you're just going to Trader Joe's, like calm down. There's enough bread for everybody, literally, right?
There's baguettes all over.
So it's really funny when we're interacting with people who are not like-minded, but again, we can't expect people to be like us. So, have you ever been in a situation where you did have expectations for people and they didn't meet those expectations? And if so, like, how do you also navigate it around that? Because I know for me, a lot of that is an issue in like the professional workspace, right? Where it's like, yo, like I'm paying you or you're paying me to get things done, and I have expectations for you. You probably have expectations for me. I'm not even asking for much, but really, like, are you going to really be like that?
Right.
Or like, again, lack of awareness or lack of experience, education, professionalism, whatever. How do you manage expectations of people? And like, what do you do when their expectations are just not what you wanted them to be?
I constantly make higher expectations for people than I should.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's
people.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's because I'm a good person, and I think everybody else in the world is a good person. Like, it's like you have to be a good person because I am. But I always try to remind myself, like, if say I'm expecting something from somebody and it doesn't come through or they don't do it, I'm like, okay, why did I expect that?
Oh, okay.
Did this person tell me that? No. I thought that. I made that up.
Yeah.
Because it's me. It's inside of me.
But
I always have to remind myself, like, these people aren't raised the way you were raised.
Okay.
These people don't move the way you move. These people don't think the way you think. These, everybody's different. So I can never expect you to do anything.
Yeah.
Ever. Because that's something I would do, not you.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's something that I just have to remind myself of a lot. Like, not even focused on the other person. It's like, all right. And if they don't come through for me on something, I look at it, that's your loss. That's not my loss.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your loss. Even if it was my loss, one day it'll be your loss.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel.
God, just like, I love how feisty you are. You're like a seasoning pack in like such a small container. But it's like just a little sprinkle. It's like, dang, all that flavor. But no, really, I really appreciate just, how clear you are on your mindset, how clear you are on your perspective. And like, one of the greatest joys I was like excited about is, I set very realistic expectations, right? When I knew you were going to be a guest. And again, I'm beyond humbled, but I just love that you are what you are, not just you preaching what you say you're about, but like, you are what you are. And I hope you know that. And in any way that I can, I want to continue to support you. And like I mentioned earlier, can't wait to do your makeup, style you for a nice shoot. And again, like-minded people, we're already thinking about the next steps of how we're going to help promote or leverage people in the best way before they even ask, right? And that's why I asked you about expectations. Is we're like a freak of nature. We're a small percentage of the average person, because we literally live and breathe with just dreams, visions, and fire. And, it's like, I tell my husband all the time, like, I refuse to die settling, right? Like, I want to do everything that I could. Even if I fail, I want to at least try, whether it's businesses, people, podcasts, products, you name it. I want to do all that I can. That way, when that time comes, I don't regret it. Right?
And that's a big thing.
Yeah, because we could sit here and be like, well, I don't want to make music. I don't want to post that photo, or I don't want to create this, idea that I have. But it's like, what? You're just going to sit and die knowing that you had all these visions just stuck in your head? You
could have did it, but you didn't.
Exactly.
This reminds me of a conversation that I had with my grandmother the other day.
Oh, man.
Very vulnerable right now, right? My grandmother's about 70 something years old.
Oh, wow.
And we were just talking, and she was just like, she was like, what do you got going on? I'm like, oh, I'm going over here, I'm going over there, I'm always moving around. She's like, I was thinking to myself the other day, she's like, and I was just thinking about, she said, I just got so sad. And I just started crying, right? As I'm talking to my grandma, because she's like, I was so sad because she said, I was just sitting here and I thought about everything that I didn't get to do.
Oh, wow.
And she's like, because I had kids.
Yeah.
Because I did this, because I moved here, because I went over here, because I, was married and blah, blah, blah. She's like, I just spent all that time worried about everybody else and what they had going on and taking care of everybody else. Now she's old, alone.
Oh.
And she's sad and regretful. And I feel like that happens with a lot of people, especially like our older generation. It's like a lot of people don't go out and chase what they got to chase because a lot of times they do have kids and they have other priorities to handle, whatever the case may be. They don't do what they want to do. So a lot of people end up old, regretful, and sad.
Yeah. Man.
And that made me cry real tears.
Yeah.
I was sad. I was like,
man, I got to meet your grandma too. She's on my meet and greet list.
Yeah.
But no, thank you for sharing. And I feel like, oftentimes I'm glad you honor wisdom from elders and, even the Korean culture. Like we were literally raised to always honor, our elders. And so even for you to just take that moment to, be there with her and listen and actually take it in, like that says a lot about you too, right? It's like you're seeking wisdom, you hear people out, you feel what your grandma went through. And I feel like, the reason why you also got emotional too is like, that's real, right?
Really
like
shit.
She is where she's at and it's like, she still has time, but just, she can't change the past. She can't change what happened, right?
Exactly.
It's done. And so all we can do moving forward is learning from the people ahead of us.
Learn from their mistake.
Exactly. Man. No, and again, I think being a woman too in this lifetime is very emotional because I know at my age too, so many questions about like my future, whether I want to have kids, but that's like another conversation for another day. But, everything we talked about today was very empowering for me too, because I also have to remind myself like, Jane, even for you one day, whether you choose to have kids or not, that's a personal, private decision that you get to make. I have to remind myself daily, like, Jane, if and when you move into that direction, is it because of who you really are and what you truly desire? Or are you also just a guilty piece of society where society is saying, well, you're a woman, you're married,
you got to have kids by this age,
and that guilt.
Bullshit.
So, yeah, exactly.
You see women get pregnant at 60 years old.
Yep.
You telling me I got till 35?
Yeah. So I'm, so 7 years later, I'm just like
with twins. At 60.
Right. Like, so again, back to questioning and being aware, right? Checking the facts, making sure we're checking the source too. But it's like, I know for me right now, I'm in that awkward hormonal season where it's like, okay, I want to believe what everybody's trying to tell me, but somewhere, somehow, it's like, Jane, keep pushing, keep building, keep elevating. That stuff will come, but like not right now, because the world is trying to tell you, you better get it together right now. It's like, what does that even mean? Get it together? Because I don't have a kid. That means I need to get it together. So I've learned to, just be aware, like show gratitude towards people who show me love and support. However, the moment it's becoming this projection or this like false narrative pressure, it's like, I can't have those type of people in my life.
Yeah.
Right. Or even the old school thing, like you got a mate yet? You got a boyfriend? You got a
you
girlfriend
married?
yet? Like,
how many times my old family members ask me, are you married?
Yeah.
I say, absolutely not.
Yeah, back in the day, that's what you do. But it's like, they don't realize, like, even they were brainwashed, right?
Yeah, like grandma, 14, I don't got to get married at 18.
Yeah.
I don't have to. I'm cool.
So I'm glad we're like the outliers, and we got a lot of time. So hopefully we can keep each other accountable. You know what I mean? It's like checking in, no pressure, obviously, but like checking in and just being like, all right, how you doing? What's next on your list? But also making sure that we're moving with authenticity and moving in a place that also brings peace, right? Because we can continue to do the rat race, chase after these false goals and, deadlines, benchmarks, but it's like, but do you have peace or do you have anxiety getting after it?
Right.
Because a lot of people can get after the kids, the marriage, the house, the cars. I mean, you see it every day. But low key, you already know they're miserable inside.
Yeah.
They're literally fighting anxiety because they're trying to keep up with this image that's not really who they are. Right. So one of the things I like to ask every guest, as we wrap it up, is we kind of touched up on a lot of things, but this was a very juicy episode. So thank you for opening up your soul, your mind, your wisdom, and the things you've gone through. If you could look back at your younger self and give her 3 life lessons that you wish you knew earlier, what would those be?
I'll probably say love who loves you. Appreciate the little things. Something so simple like your dog running around the house. One day your dog's gonna die.
Yeah.
We don't think about that. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
I just not to kill
I
the
love
moment.
your
Not
East
to
Coast
kill the
swag.
moment.
I'm like, I can handle it, but it's the truth.
No,
Yeah.
not to kill the moment. I lost my dog like a week. No lie, like a week and a half ago.
Oh shoot.
So maybe 2 weeks ago.
Mhm.
So it's just been tough, It's like you got to appreciate the little things because you just don't know. You know what I'm saying? So like the life downstairs, he's not there no more.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
little something so simple and little like that. Somebody might just be like, oh, it's just a dog. But, the little things is what really matters,
I love that.
When a man pays attention to what you tell him, I like this. And next time you see him, he has that there.
Yeah.
Oh, you listen. That's the little things,
I love that.
Appreciate the little things. And the third one I would say is don't take things personal, too personal or too serious. Because most of the time it's not personal, it's them.
Yeah.
The person.
Yeah.
It's not personal, it's the person's problem. And shit really just don't be that serious.
Yeah.
Like most of the time overthink or overanalyze a situation. This is never that. Something I made up. So
Yeah.
shit just don't be that serious. I think that was 4, but
no, hey, it's all good. Bonus.
yeah.
No, that was really good. And again, like I hope that this podcast and this episode was also just like refreshing for you, because one 100%. Of the missions that I wanted to have is to unexpectedly inspire my guests too, right? Because anyone can just sit down and have a surface conversation. Anyone can sit down and just talk about BS that doesn't matter, right? But even including the lessons you just shared, I feel like when we're able to lean in, show up for each other, like you said, love those that love you back, it is this awesome, uncommon, refreshing comfort, right? And you feel at ease. And so I want to create kind of like a ripple effect is even after today, like you go out and keep killing it, crushing it. Same for me. I can protect my peace, not take things too personal, right? And I feel like, again, as long as we stay enlightened and aware and consume the right conversations, the right type of content, I know that we'll always leave better, right? We'll always wake up having a better day. And if we're not waking up with a better day, like you said, maybe we need to switch some stuff up, right? Taking a walk, maybe changing the podcast that we're listening to.
Maybe turn your phone off.
Yeah. Okay. Taking a nap, But yeah, thank you so much for your time. And
thank
I hope
you, Jane.
you enjoyed this as much as I have.
I had a blast.
Okay. And
most fun I had in weeks.
Okay, perfect. You're like, and she got me out of the house. So
yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, it was a vibe.
So yeah, thank you so much. And I want to make sure you guys follow her on all social media accounts as well. She's truly amazing. And again, this is just the beginning. We're going to have her back very soon. But I always like to introduce my guest and, share a little bit about them as well. So make sure you follow her. We'll link all her information down below. Feel free to send us some comments and you will see her again. If there's any
100%.
topics she discussed or anything that you might want to learn from, please, we want to hear from you as well. Until next time, protect your peace, keep shining, and follow your dreams. See ya.